Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another video from the JoyTangle series, which is a 25-day Christmas themed Zentangle challenge that I hosted a couple of months back on my social media platforms. And as requested by all of you, I am putting the full length detailed tutorials of all the 25 projects that I created during the challenge. So, as some of you know, I had created a list of 25 prompts for the 25 days of the challenge so that we could use one prompt every day to create a beautiful Zentangle project for ourselves. And that way, we'd have 25 projects at the end of the challenge. And for day 22, the prompt was this wonderful tangle called Mofins from a CZT by the name of Betsy Wilson. And as always, if you are interested to check out the step outs for the tangle as well as know more about the inspiration behind it, then you will find the link for that in the description box below. So when I first came across this tangle, I was instantly drawn to it because of the way it kind of has that little spiral, at the end of it. And then I thought that it'd be interesting to try different variations of it. So in this particular project, I'm actually doing sort of like a tangleation of the tangle because when you look at the step out, you'll notice that it sort of goes in a diagonal line sort of format. So you basically kind of like link them together and it almost forms like a chain, or you can see rows and rows of Mofins which are attached to each other. And so it makes for a very beautiful border or ribbon tangle. But for this particular project, I thought it'd be fun to try a variation in which I can sort of stack them in a slightly more organic manner in a way that they could sort of stem out from each other. So not really stacking actually, it's just basically stemming out from each other, very similar to how we usually stem out all our organic tangles. And so I wanted to try that variation, and so you can see me drawing that over here. And so you can see that I'm actually playing a lot with the length of each of those elements on the straight line side, so that I can extend, the element more. It's sort of like the arm of the element, which I'm extending. And so I'm playing with the length of it each time that I want to stem it. And then I'm just going around and adding that little curve. So once I had placed all of these randomly on my tile, I went back in with my pen and started to add some line weight on those stems. And this was on the straight line side of the element. So this is just to basically add a little more inky detail on the stem and to bring in some more inky areas in the drawing. And it also helps to build some contrast. And then around the spiral, you can actually see me adding some line weight partially towards the outer edge or the periphery of the spiral. So it's a very simple, minor, tiny step, but it makes a huge difference in the overall look of the tangle. And these kinds of little additions is something that I absolutely love doing because these can sort of become like your dependable armor, or like your little treasure trove of secrets that you have in your arsenal, which you can use every time, whenever you're lost on any pattern or any drawing where you feel like you want to lift it up or enhance it a little bit, then you can use these simple tricks. And so I love demonstrating these, of course. So yeah, this is one that I wanted to show for this particular project. So just adding some line weight helps to definitely create more emphasis, creates a little bit more contrast, helps you to add a little bit more ink on the tile, brings up the color saturation. It's just very helpful, as you can see over here. So once I was done with the red as well as the green elements, then you can see that it gave a very beautiful gift wrapping paper or like a wallpaper like effect. And you can see that it had a very playful vibe to it. And so the next thing that I did was to add in another tangle called Fescu, which is a Zentangle original tangle. And because I was very keen on maintaining a playful and airy vibe in this composition, I purposely chose a tangle which is not very heavy, and it does not basically suffocate the entire composition. So I wanted to keep it with a lot of breathing space and with a lot of negative space, which is why fescue is the perfect element. So I added in a little bit of the fescue in gold and then some of it in the dark green shade as well. And honestly, I could have avoided using the dark green, but I realized that my intention behind the 25-day project was to create a cohesive series. And this one would have been like the odd one out if I had not used the dark green over here. It honestly struck me as an afterthought. I kind of forgot that I have to use dark green in this composition. Otherwise, I would have made probably a few more muffins with the dark green color as well. But then it's a good thing that I remembered it at some point in the middle. And so I added the fescue in the dark green color. And that's how I included some of that over here. So if you see the entire series on my channel, you know, the playlist with all the 25 projects, then you'll basically figure out why I was very keen on using the dark green over here. Otherwise, this would have just been like the odd one out. So anyway, once that was done, then you can see me adding in some white dots. And these are just basically tiny little details or embellishments, which I always say are like the icing on your cake. It's like the little cherry on top. And these are little elements that basically enhance your drawing a little bit more. So totally up to you whether you want to add these or not, but I personally like to add in some tiny details in white just to create a nice balance between all the colors. Okay, and once that was done, then it was time to add in some tiny dots. And again, I have been using dots in a lot of different compositions in the previous 21 days of the project. Again, so I wanted to include a few of them over here as well, just so that the whole series of the 25 projects looks unified and that all the pieces are in harmony. So just adding in some tiny details here and there. Okay, so I added that in red, green, as well as gold. And then you can see me adding in some tiny details on those stems or on those straight line edges of the muffins. And that's just, again, to basically increase the amount of gold that I have in the composition, as well as to just add in some more tiny details and make it look a little bit more detailed and intricate. And same way, you'll also see me adding in some details inside the fescue as well. Okay, so that was the final step, and now you can see me peeling off the washi tape. And once this is out, then you can basically understand why I was referring to it as a playful wallpaper or wrapping paper sort of pattern, because you can see that it almost looks like a fabric swatch or like a paper swatch, a pattern paper swatch basically. So I love creating designs like these which give me inspiration to also create some seamless patterns for fabrics and wallpapers and wrapping paper and that kind of stuff, and merchandise basically later on. So this was definitely a project that inspired me to do that, and maybe I'll actually do a digital version of that as well. So yeah, that was our project for day 22. That means we're left with 3 more projects from this 25-day series. And if you're interested to check out all the projects in the series, then definitely look at the link in the description box below, which basically has the entire playlist linked. And for the rest of the videos and for more interesting art content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will be super, super, super grateful to you for your support. Okay, and with that, I will see you very, very soon.